Hi everyone. In this video, I will share the 6 steps that I take to change my current reality into the desired one. I've been practicing this intensely since last year, so what I'm sharing has been working for me. And my intention is that it will help you as well, obviously, because your life can take a positive spin. But it's important to shift perspective so that you can resonate with the new reality, which also means, in different terms, raise your vibration. And it's important that you try it out yourself. You don't have to trust me, but trust yourself first. And welcome again. If you're new, my name is Barchi. If you want to work with me, the link to my website is in the description box down below. But let's get on with the video. Let me share something with you. I have a brain that it's always on. And besides that, it's also very creative, which is great until it's not. So my brain starts plotting some weird scenarios on how things might go wrong in my life. If you're familiar with cognitive distortions from psychology, look it up. This is what's happening. All of a sudden, I might be catastrophizing, expecting the worst case scenario, and then emotions kick in, fear shows up, and I get caught up in the downward spiral. And I'm sure you're kind of familiar with this process as well, because we are all human, right? But a lot has changed for me since last year when I discovered a law of assumption. I felt it in my heart that I had to experiment with it because something about law of assumption rang true for me. I could really tell in my heart that it's the right direction to go to. But let me walk you through my process when I go through a moment that I don't like and how I change it. Just for the disclaimer, I still get caught up in my emotions, but I do my best. This process is not to bypass what's happening in the current reality, but it's to shift it, which can sometimes be harder if you're dealing with trauma situation or things from childhood trauma and so on. But I'm not talking about this in this video. Maybe that's a video for next time. And if you're curious about this subject, please let me know in the comment section. So let's take an example that you believe that someone never does something for you. Maybe that can be invite you out or cook for you or pay attention, whatever the case. And maybe they do occasionally do that, but your focus might be, on all times just when they're not. That really triggers you. So before I get to the steps, hear me out. I'm not talking about if you're expecting a monkey to fly, that they will start flying. That's not the case. You have to have discernment. That's really important. However, what I'm sharing is be open-minded and try it out because you might be surprised how things around you start shifting. And the reason for that is because even though we are separate in this 3D reality, we are not separate in general. And you can get to experience that the more you play with this law of assumption. Okay, step number 1 is recognizing that you are caught up in a narrative or a story that you tell yourself, which isn't pleasant. So usually there is a trigger present. And that can be, or this story can be something such as a certain person doesn't like me, or I don't feel heard, or I feel rejected, I don't feel good enough, and so on. And you can already tell that this story is mostly about you, right? But let's continue. Step number 2 is self-awareness. And I can't emphasize how self-awareness is crucial. Self-awareness is a game changer. And what you do is just pause for a moment. Notice your thoughts. what's been going on, have you been telling yourself, and don't blame or judge yourself for whatever you're thinking or feeling. Otherwise, you will just continue to go on a downward spiral. What I invite you to do is to recognize that whatever is happening in your mind is your story. Just see it as your story, nothing else, nothing less than that. Be aware of it and have compassion for yourself. The third step is asking yourself, what do you want to experience? So, law of assumption speaks about how whatever you assume becomes your reality because you're part of everything. You're not separate. So instead of being caught up in the 3D reality and believing that whatever you're experiencing right now is the only truth that will last forever, shift your perspective. And just think about your emotions. Sometimes when you're experience like this immense sadness or deep grief, you might think, oh my God, this will never end. But it's not true, right? It does end. So whatever is true now is okay. Let it be. We're not here to negate reality or bypass it. But then think about what and how you want to feel. For example, you can say, I want to feel seen. I want to feel loved. Step number 4 is now that you know what you want, imagine that this has happened, that it is completed. Feel it in your body. Say that you want to feel loved. You can even help yourself by thinking of any time or times when you felt loved, because I'm sure you have experienced that, maybe with your pet, maybe with your friends, family. So recall the moment or more of those. Recall it and feel that emotion in your body. And when you feel it, you can expand it. Focus on where it is in your body and expand it. Let it overflow. Step number 5. Now, who would you be when your desire is granted? So, when you're loved or seen or have the attention, whatever the case, how would you act? What would you do if that was already done? Now, this is really important, but it works. Always, always, always act from the place of the wish fulfilled. I can't stress or emphasize this enough. And I know this is not something I can explain to you rationally. Maybe I could, for now I can't, because you need to experience it. But you'll see not only that you feel different when you're in the state of wish fulfilled, but you will also energy and frequency, and therefore you will naturally start attracting different outcomes. Step number 6, it's important to give your desire time. Don't be upset or caught up in it if it doesn't happen in a moment, even though, in all honesty, it usually happens super fast. It's crazy how sometimes things can turn around quickly. And don't take time too seriously because time is a component of a 3D reality. So, to work with it, your perspective has to be detached from not only time, but also from the way it will manifest for you. That means that sometimes what you desire might not come from the exact thing or the exact way that you wanted to get it. So detach and take action out of the place of alignment with your future self, which already has what you are yearning for now. Okay, let me know if you have any questions because I would really like you to start creating your reality because not only will you feel more empowered, you will also contribute to the world in a way wider way or more meaningful way, and you will feel more fulfilled. Tell me if you have any questions, And or if you struggle with anything, I'll be happy to help if I can. Thanks for watching. See you next time.